I still don't understand the appeal of vaping. I still
Hey,
don't get it.
the sleek now we got have new information on that last. I forgot that 2020 information, but we have 2022 information on that last page. That national data
Yeah,
might
yeah.
be the national data. I have new data for that.
Okay.
They just put out data last month for the National Youth Tobacco Survey.
Yeah, my lack of understanding of it though, is like so smoking's not good for you, obviously.
Right?
But when you buy a pack of cigarettes, it's a pack of cigarettes. This feels so off the beaten path that
It's the
you don't
sleek
know.
design, and here's the thing: the words "less harmful," and I'm gonna say it even on here. Less harmful is still harmful.
But is it less harmful?
That,
It's not like
it's the query to be investigated. When one of them still is like a pack of cigarettes, or 200 puffs of a cigarette, just
right.
one.
One, yeah.
So
Hour and 14.
now we have some new buddies that are on the market now. Of these nitazines, protonitazine, isonitazine. This is the new opioids that are coming in. That's sweeping. Started in the DMV and now coming into all of the states. Synthetic opioids. It's the new race. Nitazines, isonitazine, protonitazine.
Nitozene?
Yeah, Nitazene, and all you do is put iso in front of the nitazene and proto like iso. New synthetic opioids. Started in the DMV and was concentrated there. Now the treacherous tentacles are hitting America.
What? I think so. Yeah. Are the this nitazene, is that smoked or is that a
It could
pill?
be pill. It could, but of course you can do all different things with it. It's an opioid.
So like gonna replace fentanyl?
It's stronger than. Now keep in mind, you still have carfentanil, which is what you call the elephant. It puts carfentanil is the quiet. You have fentanyl, but carfentanil is what people call the elephant drug. Just a little bit of it will tranquilize an elephant. You
Yeah.
have carfentanil, the nitazines, and which is the iso and the proto. Those are the things. And now keep in mind with the fentanyl, you have now the rainbow fentanyl that kids are getting caught up with because it looks like nerds.
So okay, that are we actually seeing like I see the news stories
Mm.
about it, but where are the reports coming from of that happening in real life?
It's actually happening.
Okay.
It is in different states. We may not hear in the state have gotten it, but yeah, you have
Yeah.
had some deaths with the rainbow. You know, it looks like some of it rolls of candy,
Yeah.
Skittles and stuff like that.
So yeah, I see stories like that, and I always kind of one of two things is going to happen with that. Um, Kind of like the drag racing when they took over at the Garth Brooks concert. You have a bleep around and find out situation.
Right.
You start attacking kids intentionally with the fentanyl. You got to bleep around it. Now you're going to get real attention. Time to get a look at your forecast. Here's WBRZ meteorologist Marissa Nuzzo. It is that the step too far that triggers everyone to put the due attention and focus on it to shut them
Yeah,
down.
it might be, especially with this rainbow or whatever they call the candy.
Yeah.
It's really brought it to the forefront. We already know fentanyl is an issue, but with this candy version of what it looks to be candy,
Right.
oh man.
Oh, hey, we're gonna be hey Facebook, need to let you know we're gonna be giving away hockey tickets real soon. I know. Got to figure out how we're gonna do that. 7:37. Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. You know how we do on Thursday at this time. It's time for our Crime Stopper segment. Yes, it is time for Crime Stoppers, and yes, it is time for a little Smoking Prevention Month. Welcoming back to the studio, Melvin Sanders. Melvin, welcome back, man. How are you?
Thank you, man. Well, I'm glad to be back. I'm doing well. Great to be here and to speak on this subject matter again.
Absolutely, because I remember the last time you were on, it was a gripping conversation, to say the least, and I can tell you that roughly a year later, I'm no less out of the woods yet.
Right.
As far as we're talking vaping primarily. Tobacco smoking prevention, obviously important, but vaping has changed the game. So we might circle back to the good old cigarettes. But let's start with vaping. Is there's still a learning curve here as to what it actually is and how it's affecting kids?
Right. When you deal with this vaping thing, it is a battery powered element or device in which it heats up a liquid. Propylene glycol or vegetable glycerin. In this cartridge could be 60 to 70 different compounds. Now, keep in mind, these compounds are fine when consumed and digested orally.
Right.
But when you heat these things up, these compounds, that's when they can become carcinogens. So we are still dealing with but the dangers of just the heating aspect of those elements.
Right. The effects of the vaping are, they're promised to be, and they deliver on this promise, more powerful than just having the traditional tobacco. What kind of delivery, we know the delivery mechanism, what kind of actual delivery do they get through these mechanisms?
Well, through these mechanisms, you get different types of deliveries. You have where you can adjust the power of the battery, where you can get more of a pull. If you've ever been traveling and seen these big plumes of smoke coming out of windows, that's because you can modify, you can adjust to get a harder pull, to get less of a pull. So in essence, you can make the adjustments to get the feel that you want, which is dangerous.
Yeah, no, it is. Anytime you can accelerate like that, you're trending towards going overboard to begin with.
Correct, without question.
Yeah, I mean, you smoking a cigarette, your pull was as strong as your lungs are.
Right.
Like this is different. This is giving you that turbo boost, if you will.
That is correct.
Well, why is it appealing?
It's appealing, the sleek designs, and to be honest, just the how can I get away with it? You have designs where the pull strings on a hoodie, at the end of the hoodie, there's the vape. You have designs where kids have a cellular phone in a classroom, and at the bottom or at the top of it, the sleek designs. It's believed by a lot of youth, oh, this helps me reduce my stress. It makes me feel cool, or things of that. So it's the appeal to that younger generation that gets them caught up into what could end up being something addictive.
So that's something addictive through cigarettes has been nicotine. Is it still nicotine here, or is it taken on a much more nefarious presence?
It has taken on a different presence because when you deal with vaping, you can vape different things. You have cases of people vaping alcohol as far as liquor, vaping different. You run the risk and the gamut of whatever your mind can think of when you come to these. Just imagine empty cartridges being sold online different places where a kid or even an adult can fill them with whatever they want and then sell it.
So naturally, the next step would be, I'm going to ask about marijuana. Is that, I'm assuming that's the more popular one?
It is one of the more popular. It is the most popular. Just the bare knuckles, just the nuts and bolts of the situation. When you deal with vaping, more often than not, it's the THC aspect. Now, of course, we still have the nicotine aspect, but more often than not, when you deal with the vaping, it's going to be the THC aspect or even other drugs.
So this is going to be the tough one for me to get past because obviously when we talk with eye care, we're talking about being in our schools. You can hide the puff of smoke all you want. You can hide the cartridge all
That's
you
right.
want. Teachers can still smell.
Right.
That's the part I'm not understanding about how they're avoiding getting caught here. Is this still I'm 45 years old. I got to go back 20 plus years
Right.
to get to my high school days. But are we still talking about like sneaking behind the cafeteria to do this? Or is it because I feel like if you're trying to sneak it through your, whatever, your hoodie lace or whatever, you're trying to get away with it in plain sight.
Right, right. And sometimes, to be honest, the student is able to get away with it in plain sight, whether it's blowing into their hoodie or something of that nature, but they are finding ways, whether it's behind the school, restrooms and things of that nature, to, secretly vape in the school settings.
All right, let's talk about how rampant this is. What's the latest data tell us?
Latest data, October of 2022, last month, the National Youth Tobacco Survey did their survey, and more than 2.5 million middle and high schoolers are using e-cigs. Wow. Out of that number, more than 1 in 4 use daily. Now, what device is used the most? Disposable devices are used the most. And out of that 2.5 million, 85% of those middle and high school students chose flavored, the flavored aspects of vaping. So we're dealing with a big number, 2.5 million, more than 2.5 million middle and high schoolers that vape. More than 1 in 4 daily. 85% using flavoring, the flavoring parts of it.
The flavoring part of it is that's one that has been around tobacco for some time. I mean, cigarette companies have tried different, flavors as well. The individually sold cigars are like that too.
Right.
If you do partake in smokeless tobacco, they've got all kinds of different flavors as well. So that part's not new. So I understand that level of appeal. It's just, and maybe I'm being old man here, but it's the safety hazard. It's the misconceptions about safety. When vaping first started, it was pitched to us as a way to quit smoking, and then walked off on its own.
Right. It was pitched to us as smoking cessation.
Cessation, that was the word I was looking for, yes.
Smoking cessation, to help you wean you off and stop smoking. But the fact of the matter is, it has become more, it is addictive because of what you can do, the modifications, and can sometimes more often than not get you addicted quicker than maybe the cigarette or something else.
Right.
So that's what we're doing with technology, with the human mind, and with developing and wanting to push the envelope even more. That's what we're getting, those addictive aspects of it.
And it's also, we're in a time and place where social media is very invasive. Students cannot clock out from school because it follows them home via the internet. How invasive is this from a student's perspective, from they're being hit from all sides?
It is very invasive. The social media, just face-to-face with peers,
right,
and things of that nature. Even when you have certain celebrities on social media that may promote certain aspects, when you see your favorite artist or this favorite person or celebrity doing something, sometimes you want to associate with it by participating in it. But it is extremely invasive, and these students and youth and young adults will continue being inundated with this.
So how do you go about teaching the kids? I mean, you said it right up from the front. It's the cool thing now.
Right.
It is the sexy packaging and the flavors and everything else, and the danger of trying to get away with it. How do you sell this to the kids about the actual dangers here?
With iCare, we promote the prevention. That's getting in the classroom, doing one-on-ones and things of that nature, and alerting them of the dangers of it. First of all, the brain continues to develop till age 25.
Right.
You're vaping at a young age, it could cause some memory deficits, some learning deficits, and things of that nature. And you could end up with popcorn lungs when the valves in your lungs begin to narrow and you can hardly breathe. There are some very serious dangers. So it is up to us to educate, and educate.
That it's not the easiest sell, though.
Right.
Kids, and for the most part, believe they're invincible.
That's the truth.
How do you break down that wall?
By letting them know the stats.
Okay.
By letting them know real life consequences, even if that's giving them examples, because sometimes they have to know, because one thing that you will hear is, well, will it happen to me? Well, I do it and I'm different. Right. To let them know that you are not different, that if you continue doing this, there is a consequence, albeit not the most, not a bunch of data on it, but we do have the e-cig, vaping, associated lung injuries that we get the data on, but we have to let them know the dangers and the consequences.
And that part plays into it as well, because we've had generations worth of data on cigarettes, and it's still an uphill battle.
Exactly.
So to not be able to walk in there armed with the definitive timeline of, proving lung cancer and all the other good things. From a parent's perspective, we've got 2 minutes left.
Gotcha.
From a parent's perspective, what should we be on the lookout for to know if our kids are being hitting that vape on the sly?
I'm glad you asked me that. Know the signs. There's this thing called vapor's tongue. When once you vape, the moisture in your mouth is compromised, thus causing increased thirst and even a desire for spicier foods. There's a damage to the skin damage and irritation. There's also aspects of this where you can notice usage by way of sleep disturbances. Mm-hmm. And here's another aspect, nosebleeds. Consistent and constant nosebleeds are a sign of vaping.
Interesting. I wonder what the cause and effect is on that.
The dehydration with the inhalation, mm-hmm. and sometimes blowing out of your nose and things of that nature.
Okay. Vapor's tongue. That's good ones to be on the lookout for. Last message before you get out of here, because we got less than 60 seconds to go.
Gotcha.
Yeah. What is your closing message for both parents and students in this regard?
Don't be afraid to talk to your student, talk to your child. Have knowledge for yourself. Once you gain that knowledge, talk to that child, talk to that student, and repeat it again, because once is not enough. Educate them. Educate yourself. Know the dangers, know the consequences, and be a great example.
Melvin Sanders Jr., eye care specialist, talking vaping through Tobacco and Smoking Prevention Month. We appreciate the time this morning.
Thank you very much for this opportunity.
No, glad to have you on here. Always enlightening stuff. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to check your money now.